This week. Yeah, normal. This. Last week, it's final ordinary meeting. I still remember. Ordinary meeting. Whoa. Don't know. I think I have to ask the registrar. Nasalira sindikana meeting mo. Council meeting it is sindikana. The house. Sema jana ipangise ilale school. All right, let's start. Let's start. Here. Let's go to all right. Let's go to calculating annual HPY. All right. Right. Or let's go to consider an investment of $250 and it has for 2 years. All right, annual HPY. All right, let's look at annual HPY. All right, let's go to annual HPY. Annual HPY. We'll do it. All right, annual HPY. All right. To find annual HPY, what you have to do is you have to compute annual HPR minus 1. So to calculate annual HPY, because HPY we've got a percentage, right? What you do is you take annual HPR and subtract 1. So you take, this is annual HPR minus 1. So this gives you annual HPY, all right? But now, how do you find annual HPR? In other words, annual HPY, annual HPY is equal to annual HPR minus 1. Annual HPR minus 1. All right. And that is in percentage, and the answer should be in percent. Remember that? We did that. The answer should be percentage. Because this annual HPY, we are looking at what you want to see, that you want to look whether you are having return or loss, profit or loss, or is equivalent. That's what you want. Is it that are you having a profit? Are you having losses or return? Do you have return or losses? Or is it that when you keep the money, you got them as it is? That's the thing behind here. So you are this one, you are trying to analyze investments, whether they are producing return or they are not producing return. And it is your idea is to make a decision of either to proceed with your investment or to withdraw the investment. To withdraw your investment or to proceed. That's why the aim behind here is to make decisions. And these decisions should be wise decisions, because you are managers. Being managers, you are required to make decisions. So when you are making decisions, the decisions will be reflected based on the HPY. All right? So it will be based on the HPY. That's why, when you look at this one, another issue is, annual HPY. It means annual HPY, it means that it's something which is happening annually, yearly, all right? Compoundedly, all right? That's annual HPY. But the issue is, how do we calculate annual HPYR? Let's find out. You remember, HPR, it is holding period return. The return you get within a specified period, that is holding period return. All right? The return that you get within whether 1 year, that is a holding period return. All right? But holding a period, it is that period, 1 year, 2 years, you are investing. But holding period return, that profit that return you are getting within a specified period, that is holding period what? Return. But now, what is this annual HPR? I think you have to understand what I'm trying to say here. Now, when we talk about annual HPR, this one, but annual HPR, if you want to get annual HPR, what you actually do is you have to say it is the same as HPR to the power 1 over n. So this is HPR to the power 1 over n, where n is the number of years that investment is held. Annual HPR is equal to HPR to the power 1 over n, where n is the number of years that investment is held. Number of years the investment is held. All right, the investment is held. All right, and then from there, now let me give you an example. Consider an investment costing 250, all right, and is worthy 350 after being held for 2 years. All right, consider this investment. Consider investment. You have invested $250. All right, within 2 years, you get it's wealthy $350 after 2 years. Consider that you invested 250, you got 350. It means there was a return, not so? But this was 2 years. All right, then let's work out annual HPY. So the issue is work out, right, HPY, annual HPY. What you do is, firstly you need to find the HPR, right? Calculate HPR for that. All right, now to find HPR, what did you do? Is equal to ending value over beginning value, and this gives you, what is the ending value? 350 over 250, and this gives you 1.4. All right, now see, you make a decision from this 1.4. What does that mean? 1.4, it means you invested this, you got 350. If you want that one, which is about subtract this one, is about 100, right? It's about 100, right? Now what does that mean? If you look at that, what has happened there, it means that your HPR, it is 1.4. It is coming positive here. It's more than 1. That's why there was a return profit. That's why it has gone to. If you invested 250 and you are getting 250 again, you discover that the HPR will be 1. All right? Right? HPR 1. If you invested 250 within 1 year, you invested 250 and you got 250. 250 divided by 250 gives you what? 250 divided by 250? 1. And that 1, it means there was no profit, there was no loss. You invested, you got it as it is. Right? If you invested 250 and you are getting less than 250, that's why it will be now, it will be less than 1, but above 0. More than 0, but less than what? In other words, your return here, your return X here is going to be All right, x is going to be less than 0, and here it's just be within here. It's less than 1 and greater than 0. It has to range in that forum. It has to be greater or equal to, like this. It ranges between 1, 0 and 1. It ranges between that. That's what it means there. All right. But when it is when you have gone below that, if you have gone below that, it means then what you are saying is, if you look at this one, it is less than, no, less, not less or equal, but it has to be less than 1. Less than 1. We are talking about numbers from less than 1. That's why it is. These are losses. Where you have got losses, it goes like this. It means that these are losses here. These are losses. All right, or risks. But when it is 1, it means it was either there were either losses or profit. It means that it was just equal. No loss, no profit. No losses, no profit. No return. Well, the answer is 1. But when it is greater than 1, assuming that this is greater than 1, it means they were retained. Return in the sense that if you look at what is happening there, what is happening there, it means that there is a return. That's why it's greater than 1. You invested in 250 and you got this. But now let's work out what is it. So it is upon you to make a decision. How do you advise your client? So you advise your client based on this. Is it that greater than 1 or less than 1, or is it that it's 1? So it's upon that. Now let's go to this issue here. Let's go to this one. But now this, when you look at this one, they are saying it has to find the annual one. Now to find the annual HPY is equal to, before we go to annual HPY, this one annual HPR, then annual HPR is equal to HPR to the power HPR to the power 1 over what? N. So this is what? 1.40 to the power 1 over how many years? 2, right? See 2 years here. See here. Consider an investment worth this, and then you get it after 2 years. That, right? What does that mean? For if you say it is 1.4 to the power half, it means the meaning of this one, what it means there is that this is the square root. All right, it's a square root of 1.40. What is the square root of that? 1.1832. All right, which is the same, which is equal to, just because we are looking at this as whatsoever is 1.18. All right, to the nearest, right? This is your annual HPR. Annual HPR. Then let's calculate annual HPY. Annual HPY is equal to HPR, annual HPR minus 1, right? Annual HPR minus 1. So what is it? This one, right? 1.18 minus 1, and this gives you 0.1 what? 8, which is the same as 18 what? 18%. It means the return was 18%. So you can advise someone if you know that the return is 18%. So you have to advise. So here, decision. What decision can you give to your client? So what decision can you give to your client? All right, having a return 1.18%. What decision do you give to your client? So you can say, if your annual HPY is 18%, what does that mean? That was a profit. All right, that was a return. All right. You see that you can advise this guy to say, no, you can proceed with your investment. You can again invest again. All right. You can find out, or you can tell your client whether to diversify investment if you see that maybe there are problems. But the fact that it is 18%, it means that there is less return. All right. That's what is that. Now, let's go to another scenario where let's look at that. This is 18%. All right. Let me just say 18.32%. Let's just put 18.32%. Maybe you can make it 18.3 or 80% is fine. All right. You can come up with a decision there. All right. Another one, if suppose you are experiencing a decline in your worth value, let's look at that. All right. This is a profit. Let's go to keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. You keep that in mind. This is a return. Let's go to loss, decline. Where there is a decline, let's look at it. What would be that? So profit. So we have seen profit, that one. Now let's go to a decline. Assuming you have invested $500. So assuming you have invested $500 here, and you are getting 400. Assuming you have invested that, and at the end of, and you get you invested wealth 400 after 2 years. You invested this, all right? Assuming you invested the cost of this and it's worth that after held for 2 years. Let's calculate HPR, HPY, that's something like that. Now let's start. Let's calculate HPY. HPY is equal to HPR is equal to ending value over beginning value, right? So what is this one? Ending value is what? 400 divided by 500, and this gives you, what is this? 0.8, eh? All right, yeah. So this is 0.8. All right, 0.8. Now, have you seen that 0.8 is less than 1? All right. But at first, when we got profit, it was more than 1. It was more than 1. When that first example, it was 1.4. Right? You remember that? When it was a profit, at first, it was 1.4. All right? This is HPR, all right? And HPY, it was what? HPY, it was what? It was 18, right? It was 18%. It was 18%. All right? All right? Now, HPR, it was 1.4. And the annual one, this one, no, it wasn't 1.4 because it was annual, because it was 3 years. Eh? So it was annual HBR, it was 1.18. All right, it was 1.18. One annual HBR here, it was 1.18. Well, it was annual. It was annual for 3 years. All right, let's go to this one for 2 years. The annual one, it was 1.18. Annual HPR, it was 1.18. All right, 1 point, because here to find HPY, you are taking HPR minus 1. Right? So when you must minus 1 here, that's why you're going, you get 18%. Annual, we are looking at annual for 2 years here. Annual for 2 years. In other words, not annual for, but you just say for 2 years, not annual. But here, for 2 years. For 2 years. For 2 years, you got that. Let's go to this one. So our annual HPR is equal to HPR to the power 1 over n, and this implies that it's 0.8 to the power 1 over what? 2, and this is the square root of 0.8. Work out that. What's the square root of 0.8? What is the square root of 0.8? Huh? 0. What? 0.8. All right. For 2 years. Yeah, this was 0. What? 0. Square root of 0.8 is 0. What? 8944. Okay. Now, what is your that's annual HPR. What is your annual HPY? Annual HPY is equal to annual HPY minus 1, right? Annual HPR minus 1. So it is this one, which is the annual HPR is what? 0.89 minus 1. All right? What is it giving you? Huh? Negative 0.106, 56. All right? To the nearest is negative 0.11. All right? To something like that. Are you able to see? All right? It was something like that one, right? So, which is the same as because of negative, that's why it was a loss. All right? So this is as percentage. All right, is negative 11%, right? Negative 11 what? Percent. Negative 11%. So you can look at that. That is negative 11%. That is negative 11%. You see now, what is happening there is, because there is a loss, our annual HPR, it is turning it to be this one, 0.8944. So this one, this is a profit. For this one is a return. For loss, annual HPR, here we are saying it is 0.89, 0.89, but HPY is equal to negative what? 11%. But this is positive. That's why I was saying, if it is more than 1, it is a profit return. If it is less than 1, it is a loss. For the percentage, if it is like this, it means there's a profit. If you have got a negative percent, it means that is a what? A loss. So it's either, are you using HPR? The decision is, when it is less than 1, it's a loss. But when it is more than 1, it is a profit. All right? Good. Now, all right? That's how you do it. So you can make decision. Right? Consider that you invested 500, the third one. For 2 years. Consider that you invested 500 and then you got 500. 500 and you got 500. Let's work out. For 2 years, HPR is equal to 500 divided by 500, and this gives you what? 1. Therefore, annual HPR is equal to HPR to the power 1 over n. So this is 1 to the power 1 over 2, which is the square root of 1, and this is 1. Square root of 1 is 1. Alright? Therefore, the moment you see that it is 1, it means that you invested and you got it as it is. But now, let's go to annual HPY. Annual HPY is equal to annual HPR minus 1. So this is 1 minus 1, and this gives you what? 0%. Alright? 0%. So the fact that it is 0%, then it is that. Therefore, here, where you are having, you are not lost, not either lost or whatsoever, it was you had 1 and here you had 0%. The moment you had 0% and here you had 1, aha, it is this. This is not, it is just constant. Constant. You got that, and then you got that, and then you received as it is. So, for the particular period, annual HPR, it is 1. Annual HPY, 1 minus 1, it is 0. So, decision, out of these three, you can now come up with the decision. So what decision can you bring? Can you come up with? So it depends on what decision you can come up with here with. All right. Now let's go to another area, and this is what is looking at another investment here. Let's look at another investment. Now decision, it is upon here. Whatever we are looking at, you can come up with a decision based on what we have learned here. Decision will come from here. Clear? Then let's look at another scenario here. Giving you another scenario. Assuming these are the three decisions that you can face on earth. All right? In the Bible is where we got this guy here. Here, what Jesus gave a parable, that there was a certain master. So this master told his servants that there were several servants, and told them, I'm going away, but now I want to pay you, so that each one of you need to have your own cash. So he had to pay them the same amount. Gave them. Now he left them. He said, you can do what you can do with your money. Someone kept the money, and when the master came, found the money as it is. It is this gentleman here. And this guy, because he kept the money in a pot, and when the master came, he found exactly the amount of money that he got, that he gave him. What this master said, that was what, according to the Bible, what the master said to this guy, he actually said, you are a fool. You are a fool. Because I gave you this money with the intention that you can come up with a return. But I gave you the money. You are now telling me that the very same money is this one. You are very fool. You are not wise here. At least if you had taken the money and then you share it to people, that would have been much better. Or if you had the money, drink cachaça everywhere, that would have been much better. But I gave you the money and you kept the money, you are giving me the very same money. You are fool. That was the scenario. This is the issue here. So when you are making decisions in the investments, decisions have to come bearing in mind what is your HPR. What is your HPY? When your HPR is 1, when HPR is 0%, advice. In this context, who do you think that you can advise to withdraw? This one you can advise him to withdraw the investment, or what another decision? You can advise, because in this context here, it means the graph had to go first up, but it's come down here. All right? It was this issue here. It was to do with this graph here. You know this graph? Product life cycle. All right? You know it, right? So, at least here you are taking off. Here you are going there. Different stages. But the moment you are going down, it is that scenario now. This one. What advice do you give to that guy? It's better if you see that you are doing well, but you are now going in a decline. Think, what can you do with your product? Right? It's either you can rebrand. Rebrand the product. You can rebrand the product, or you can segment the market segmentation, right? You can segment, because if you tell this guy that you have to withdraw completely, you have to give him an idea, a decision that has to be satisfied. Assuming you have a school, you have opened a business, and then you discover that it has gone down. Can you close completely? You need to find a mechanism. Either you can reposition, you can segment the market, you can rebrand, or you can come up with unique products, different products, so that maybe, or if it is a school, you can change the name. You change the name of the school, you can rebrand it, you can segment the market, you can find that, you can positioning, you can bring a lot of what I call marketing strategies here. We call marketing what? Marketing strategies. So different marketing strategies can come here. Are we together, guys? Yeah? All right. Now, let's look at another element here. Let's look at another element. And this element is consider this. Consider someone invested $100 here. Consider you invested $100. All right? And you are having a return of $12. Not this now. Consider 100, and then you have then a return of you have a return of $12. All right. Work for 6 months, not 2 years. Let's look at here for 6 months. Right? Work out HPR, annual HPR, annual HPY, final A, B, C. What decision can you produce out of that? Can you try, and then I will come in. We will come in after you try. Once you are done, I'll come in and we want to do another element. Remember, this is 6 months, eh? It's not 6 years. Eh? This is 6 months. It's not a year, less than a year. I want you to do that. Once you are done, tell me. Can we do together? Can I now proceed? Let's now proceed. Okay, let's work it out, and then you can cross-check what you have found. Now, how do we work out annual HPR? So annual HPR is equal to what? Annual HPR is equal to H. This one is gold. Is equal to HPR. HPR to the power 1 over A. So this is, you need to find there first, what is your HPR, right? HPR. So here, HPR is equal to over beginning value, right? Which is it? Which is what? Ending value is going to be 112. Very good, 112, because you're adding it there, right? Divided by what? 100, and this gives you 1.12. All right? That is HPR, but because of annual one. But now to find that annual HPR is equal to this one, right? 1.12 to the power 1 over what? 6 months is how many? It's half, right? 1 over half. All right? Right? Which is the same as 1.12 to the power 1 over 0.5. Right? Right? Like this one, right? Or 1 over half like this one, which is 1 over like this one, right? Let's take this one to avoid that we can get confused. All right? So this one is the same as 1.12 the power. So you see, we're just taking only this one. Let's use that one. 1 divided by half, which is 1 over 1 multiplied by 2 over 1, which is 2. All right? So here is going to be 2, like this one. Right? Are we? Or you're lost? Are you lost, or you are? Maybe our friend is lost. If you look at this, 1 divided by half is the same as 1 divided by half is this one, which is 1 over 1 when divided multiplied by 2 over what? Which is what? 2. Therefore, the whole of this one is going to be 1.12 to the power what? 2. Well, now to square that one gives you 1 point what? 1.2544. All right, that is our annual HPR. All right, let's find the is this one, right? And HPY. So this is like this one. All right, HPY or annual HPY is equal to annual HPR minus what? So it is what? 1.2544 minus 1, which gives you 0.2544. All right? Well, that was a profit. That's why we are having that. This is more than 1, right? The moment you see that, this is already, this is a what? This is a return. All right, which is a profit, right? So the moment you come up to this one, you discover that as percentage here, you are going to come up with what? As percentage 25.44 what? Percent. What advice can you give? There was a what? That was profit, a return. In other words, you can advise this guy to reinvest. Why you have to invest again? There was a profit, right? After 6 months, you get this one. With 6 months only, you are getting this return. Then that's great. So you can advise this guy to reinvest, to invest again. All right. Right now, note that we made some implicit assumption when converting HPY to annual basis. This annually, right, holding period yields computation assumes a constant annual yield for each year. In 2 years investment, we assume that is 18.32, right? Look at here, for 2 years, right? Right? For 2 years. This is it. What we did here, it was for 2 years. Our assumption, we are assuming that after the whole 2 years, we may assume that after all the 2 years, this was the profit. But the investment was one, and it was just calculated within once. But this is just, we are just assuming. So that is our assumption, that it was a constant annual yield for each and every year. So in 2 years investment, we assume an 18.3%. We just assume that 18% in 2 years, all right, rate of return each year was compounded. But sometimes this is not the case. It's not the case. That's why, to do that, we have now to use another method of computing this holding period use and holding periods return. Right? We need to find another method. What they're saying is that we are calculating here, but when we are calculating here, it has got problems. When you be working in offices, like you be working with the banks, they will just give you a program, provided you have to know how to interpret. They'll give you a program, just punch in the numbers. Oh, someone invested in this, or this, you find yourself, the answer is coming on its own. Then you can make bad decisions based on those ones in offices. You're not going to be dealing with pesos and what. I'm just this training you so that maybe when you go to your offices, these things just becoming automatic. Right? In your office, where are you be going? You be managers. You be driving very nice cars. Right? So computer will be doing for you. But the issue is, sometimes this may look reality as if it is real. We assume that this is real, but it has got problems. That's why our topic of discussions, why can't we reduce this to two theories? Let's just look at this in terms of historical mean return. Historical mean return. In other words, mean rates of return for single investment, and then we can work it out, and then we can derive that. Let's go to investments now. Computing mean historical return. So we are looking at now computation of mean historical return. There are two methods of computing this. Methods of computing return. Of course, there are several ways. There are several ways of computing return. But let's look at these two methods of computing return. Methods of computing return. Apart from what we have seen, this is another method we are computing return. But let's go to the major methods of computing return, and then we are going to we will at least look at that. Methods of computing return. Methods of computing return. In other words, other methods of computing return. Apart from what we have already seen, what are other methods of computing return? One, we can compute return, we can compute mean historical return using, so we are looking at computing mean historical return and then calculating expected rate of return. So these are the two methods, computing mean historical return. So one, computing mean historical return. All right. So there are two methods here. We're going to use two methods, computing mean historical return. Secondly, we'll compute using what is called expected rate of return. Expected rate of return, which is ARR, and use that by using weighted now. So expected rate of return now is where we are going to use weighted, market weight and weighted mean. It's where now we will look at weighted mean. We are going to use weighted means. Now, computing mean historical return, we use two theory. We use two types here. We use what is called arithmetical mean. Arithmetical mean, which is called AM. Yes, AM, and we'll be using what is called arithmetical mean, and the second one, it is geometrical mean. So it is geometrical mean. All right, which is known as the GM. In other words, there are other ways that can assist you to compute what is called computing return. For you to know return, you can use either arithmetical mean, geometrical mean, or you can use weighted means through what is called expected rate of ERR. So other methods of computing return, you can use mean historical return, you can use through arithmetical mean or geometrical mean, or sometimes you can use expected rate of return ERR. And then I will post, I think I posted the notes on expected rate of return, right? Right? Yeah. I have the definition of what is expected rate of return. What is a return? I posted that. I posted the notes. You got that? Okay, good. Yeah, I posted that. You have to look at that carefully. So it is to do with the expected rate of return, or you can use what is called, the computing. So let's start with this one. We are starting with this. All right? We are starting with this. I will just have to do that, and then we'll finish this on Thursday. We'll finish this on Thursday. So that when we come another time, we'll be dealing with this. But I'm starting again. Today we have read that again. I will start this one. On Thursday, I have to finish off. Then when we meet, we'll do this. Then when we meet for the last time, we'll do how to calculate probability based on expected rate of return. All right. Now let me start with this. I will start with the arithmetical mean. All right. Not that we have calculated HPY for a single investment, we have seen that one, and now want to compute the mean rates of return for a single investment and for a portfolio investment. You see, what we are trying to mean here is when we are looking at this return, especially what should be coming into your head, there must be my stocks, bonds, those that have to be in you. That when we are selling shares, whatever we are doing here, we are not talking about selling a car and you buy a car and you are solely selling it as that. Shares, bonds, and again in your head, what are shares? Where do you get shares? How are shares bought? All right, what are bonds? Types of bonds. How are they? That element has to be in you, because everything that we are doing here, it has to be in connection with my bonds, stocks, shares, Malawi Stock Exchange. That one. I'm preaching that now. You have to look at that again about my bonds, shares, and because that is to do with this decisions that I'm talking about here. I'm saying, what decision can you come up with? This is to do with the bonds, shares. All right, compatible. What are the convertible bonds? What are types of shares? What are debentures? That is what is we are looking at here. Now, let me talk something about this, but I'll just start with this. We'll finish with this later. Let me start with this arithmetical mean. Given a set of annual rates of return, HPYs, for an individual investment, there are two summary measures for return performance. In other words, if you are given annual rates of return, HPYs, annual rates of return, the HPYs, by the way, what are HPYs? The annual rates of return. What are the HPYs? What are HPYs? These are annual rates of what? Of return. But if you have to define that, HPYs, they are the annual rates of return. HPYs are the annual rates of return. I have to define that. Now, so given a set of annual rates of return for an individual investment, there are two summary measures of return performance. In other words, if you want to measure return performance, right? If you want to measure return performance, you use two methods. So what are these methods? These methods are arithmetical mean and geometrical mean. These are the two methods of measuring return performance. So return performance depends on arithmetical mean and geometrical mean. All right. If you are to write thesis, dissertation, all right, you want to investigate you are trying to measure the performance of whatsoever shares and what on based on arithmetical or geometrical mean. You can do that. You can measure that, finding out whether you are making profit or you are making loss. You can come up with your research topic, and then you say, no, I think you want to find out the impact on or whatsoever on return performance. The impact of what you can come up with your own topic and that. All right. Now let me start with we want to measure the return performance. Return performance, you can only say that this is doing well, it's not doing well based on arithmetical mean or geometrical what? Mean. The moment you find your answer, you can make conclusion and you can say based on this, you can conclude. That's why research is not graphs. Research is not graphs. Research is even you calculate mathematically and you find the answer, you are done. You can make conclusion based on, you can make a decision, because the research is to make a decision. You can come up with and you calculate, and you say based on these results, The rule states that when it is like this, it is this. When it is like this, it is this. The moment you do that, you have finished with your research. Because others may think research is to do with the graphs, you do this. Performance against mean and geometrical mean, you can do that. See the investment.